Today, we are going to go over two things that have really helped us grow our business, especially our insurance practice, IBC Global, which focuses on high cash value life insurance. And those two things are treating your clients with convenience and then the golden rule. Convenience, think of it this way. When was the last time you shopped on Amazon? How easy was it to buy a product from them? They've got a one-click shop now. You just click a button, you buy it, that's it. Typically, you get it the same day or the next day. It's incredible. They have focused on making things so convenient for their clients, for their customers, they can't lose. Why on earth would I shop somewhere else where I've got to jump through a bunch of loopholes, re-enter my credit card information all the time? They focus on their customers and making things so easy for them. And it works. They've got a model that's not broken. Copy them. Convenience is key. People will pay a premium for it. Number two, the golden rule. Treat others as you want to be treated. Think of it this way. If you've ever worked with a company, a sales professional, and you experienced frustration, pain, you did not like the process, make sure you are not treating your customers, your clients like that at all. When problems pop up, when people complain to you, whether they vent, maybe it's indirect, direct, whatever it might be, make sure to listen to that and then see how you can solve that problem to make it very convenient for them, but treat them how you would want to be treated. If you flip positions with that person and you're feeling the frustration they are, exactly what would you want to see? What would you want to hear? What would fix it to make you satisfied in that situation? And then do the same thing. Don't listen to other people that say, well, you just got to treat the client this way, sometimes get rid of them. No, treat them how you want to be treated. You do that, you'll continue to grow, thrive, and your competition will not be able to keep up with you. That's the key right there. So let's go through the sales process first. What does your client want? What are they looking for? What do they want to purchase? What are they interested in? It is not about what you want to sell them, not about what you do, not about what you are an expert in. It is about what they want. If they came to you for your expertise in a certain area, that's great. Make sure you ask questions to identify exactly what they are looking for, what they're trying to accomplish. Answer questions directly. We can talk about this one all day long. Have you ever gotten a question from someone? Have you ever asked a question and not received a direct answer? And then how do you feel after that? It's frustrating. Frustrates you to death. Frustrates me to death. I ask someone, hey, how much does this car cost if I take these features off or these options off? Well, you might not want to consider that. I would highly recommend you go with this option or maybe even look at this model over here. How much does it cost if I take these options off? Like, that was my question. Answer the question. Even if it shines a light on a negative aspect of your product, of your service, answer it. Quick example, we sell whole life insurance designed for maximum cash value. The worst part about it, what are the drawbacks to cash value life insurance? Really the first year. No matter how well you design a policy for maximum cash value, I've got that negative hit right off the bat. I could pay in $100,000 and I see between $85,000 and $90,000 in cash value in the first year. Takes a couple years before I see a positive cash value, a positive return on my money. That's a drawback, but I want to be very direct about answering that question or asking the question for them and then answering it in order to build awareness, show options, build awareness around the things you would want awareness around if you were the consumer. Flip positions. Not every consumer, not every client is going to ask you the same questions. However, what things have popped up in the past that have become problems after a sale has been made, make sure you are posing those questions to the client for them to ask so you can then build awareness. Very important to do this and it will help you so much. People appreciate it. Think again, if it's you in their shoes, you want to know the information, you want to know the pitfalls, not just be sold and find out after the fact, oh, I didn't know this, now I'm frustrated. Post-sale, customer service. This one is huge. Providing customer service and doing it fast, giving them the time. When you are engaged in an initial sale, let's say you're working with someone who's putting in $1 million per year, and it's going to generate over $100,000 commission for you, your company, going to be a huge sale. It's exciting. When they ask you a question prior to them purchasing, how quickly are you going to get back to them? You're going to get back pretty fast, aren't you? I would. And that's the same if someone's going to put in $1,000 per year. All customers attempt to treat them equally as possible. You're going to need help as you continue to grow, though, because everyone will want to go to you. But after that sale is made, right? So when he was looking to pay in, he or she's looking to pay in $1 million, or a bank's looking to put in $10 million, I'm getting back fast. However, after they've made that payment, after you've been paid, you as the professional now, are you still giving them the time? One of the reasons they purchased from you, not one of your competitors, because they can get the same product and service from your competitors, is because you were fast, because you gave them the time of day. They liked you, reminded them perhaps of themselves. So make sure you continue to do that. And this, by the way, does not have to only be you. One of the things we do at our company is, me personally, if I'm working with someone, 99% of the time, I'm going to involve another professional, another agent. This way, the person I'm working with receives a fast reply, fast turnaround time. After the sale is made, the client still has myself, the other agent, and our client relations department as customer service. This way, we're always proactively sending information. If they have a concern or question, and I was fast originally, I'm gonna make sure I'm fast to get back, or another individual is. They're getting a response very, very quickly. Very important to do that. Going back to Amazon with their convenience, that's exactly what they do, and they're effective with it. Never assume they remember everything. That's very crucial here. It happens in all businesses. And never say, hey, we went over this. Don't you remember that? You remember we went through this originally, or I told you how that worked before? Avoid that phrase, I told you. No. That can turn people off very quickly. Never assume they remember. Remember, you are the professional. You're in the business. There's times you forget what you do or certain aspects about your job, product, service, whatever it might be. So don't assume the client's going to remember everything, read over everything. Your job is to educate them and go over it. Refresher. Think again. If it's you and I sell you a complex high cash value life insurance policy and you forget that there's a PUA rider fee on it, I'm using a technical term on purpose, and then you come after the fact, you say, hey, I made this $10,000 payment and I noticed about $9,800 showed up in cash value. What was that again? Like, I don't remember talking about that. So if I say to you, we talked about that, it's right in the contract where it says there's a load, a PUA load, there's a fee there. Don't you remember? I don't think anyone would say it quite that harsh, but this kind of stuff happens in business. No. So let's redo that. You come to me and say, hey, Steve, I made this PUA payment, $10,000 into my policy. I saw about $9,800 shows up in cash value. Like, what's going on here? Where's the rest of my money here? Good question, Mr. Client. So that actually has to do with the PUA rider fee in the policy. I know we covered a ton. We touched on that, but I probably didn't spend enough time on it. Can definitely talk through everything with you. I've actually got some content, written and video content. I can send with some visuals. I just sent it to you, or I'll send it in the next 5 minutes, but I can definitely talk through it as well. Has to do with the fee associated with the policy. With that said, you'll see your money quickly compound and you'll have more money than what you've paid in, but we can talk through in more detail. Questions on that? The point is, take the time, be respectful of their question, never be demeaning, and do not assume they remember everything. And again, ask questions, answer questions. I forgot the word directly, but answer questions directly. So important to do. And do you appreciate it? Flipping positions, do you appreciate it when someone directly answers your questions? Even if it's the bad news you thought it was going to be, you asked to find out the truth or to validate it, yes. And they go through, here's the problem, here's what to do, here's what I would recommend. Not beat around the bush and you gotta be careful with that stuff. I get emotional with this because I used to do it, and as it's done to me, the thing that I try and do, because we all experience this, is say, okay, it's all right. Here's how we can overcome it. Next time when you bring this up, respond in this manner. I've been there. Like, I get it. We can get through it though. Next, this is the big one. This is so important. Problems. When problems pop up, starting with the golden rule, how do you want to be treated when you are upset? If you're heated about a product or service, maybe expectations were not properly set, maybe you forgot about something honestly and now you're mad about it, calling up your agent or the customer service department, you're upset. What do you want the other person to do? Do you want them to argue with you, to try and bring up bullet points to say, hey, I told you so? This happens. This is why so many people hate customer service reps at companies. Either they don't get an answer or they're argumentative. This happens so much. Listen. All we have to do often is be quiet and listen. Doing that goes such a long way. I'll share a story. There's someone we work with. He's become a good friend of mine. He puts in a large amount of money into a high cash value life insurance policy, 7 figures per year. Big policy. Really nice guy, really humble guy. He called on his renewal date one year and he had a question. He's measuring the IRR and he's asking me, hey, like what's going on here? Maybe I forgot about this, but I've got some concerns. And he was a little heated too about some aspects. He's looking at a lot of money or paying a lot of money in. He's already started. So he had questions and concerns. If I said to him, we talked about this, don't you remember all these things? Like we went over it several times. Like I would tell myself, Steve, are you an idiot? Like you cannot say that kind of stuff to clients. You can't say it to anyone. I'm not going to talk to my wife like that. She wouldn't talk to me like that. Like that's just disrespectful. So I'm not going to do it to a client, a prospect. He's actually become a friend. It's not even about the money. But the thing is, he was heated, for me to get back on track here. Listen to his concerns. Make sure I'm paying attention to him, writing down, hey, here's the main point of emphasis he's making, and then calmly talk to him. Ask questions. Hey, no, thanks for bringing that up. So with your policy, the IRR, when we look at it year over year, here's how it works. You will also find that once we upgrade your policy, you're going to see a boost in performance. When we compare it to loan rates, what you can get with the policy or elsewhere, just going over everything again. Never assume they remember everything, but giving them the time. Listening is so important. And this individual has become a mentor to me in a lot of ways. He even said at the end of that call, he goes, you know, the way you handled that, Steve, is you listened to me. You heard the concerns as I'm expressing them, and the situation worked out fine. He's very good. I'll say he's one of the best I've ever met at handling situations because he's got a large company where problems come up. It happens as you have a lot of people to deal with. He knows exactly what to say, exactly how to listen to properly address the situation. So I viewed it as constructive criticism where he said, hey, good job here with the listening. Here's some things you need to work on and other aspects of business, and we learn from each other. I've learned much more from him. So listen, respond to the concern properly. Very important to do that. Make sure you listen first, and then the main points of emphasis, you're talking on those. Your job as the professional is not to win an argument or prove a point. This is where so many people crumble. And it just goes south, they lose a client. It's happened to me. So going back to the golden rule, I remember I worked with a professional once, sold me a service that they said it was going to be as easy as the one I owned. I didn't want to switch initially, but we did, and it didn't work out. So I went back and asked questions, and they said, hey, if you remember, here's the point, the points and reasons you bought. And I said, okay, but here's the other things I was concerned about originally, and I'm concerned about now. And I get a message back, well, I think we've both made our points clear, something like that. I was upset. And maybe I acted like a child, but I'm like, all right, I'm not working with this individual anymore. Still friends with them, but I mean, from a business perspective, not working out. And as I reflect on that, because we've all done it, I've done stupid things like that, trying to prove a point, ended up losing the business. So that's what we want to avoid. Your job is not to argue, not to prove a point, not to remind them in a harsh way. Can't do that kind of stuff. I know this might sound kind of foolish, but it goes such a long way in business and communication. Your job is to serve the customer. Do that and do it with this, the golden rule, how you would want to be served if you were in their shoes particularly. asking the right questions, answering the right questions, maybe providing a recording to go over the service again, make it as convenient as possible for them. If you do that, you'll be okay. And then the last thing, and we'll wrap up with this. Never, ever complain about your customers. Don't do it among other customers. Don't do it among staff. Don't do it among anyone. It goes back to point number 2. How do you like it when people complain about you? Makes you uncomfortable. A friend of mine in the office shared a story recently that I think everyone has experienced. He recently purchased a car from a dealership, and he hears the salesmen and salespeople around the corner laughing and complaining about other customers, clients that I don't know exactly what they're talking about, but it sounded like a demeaning conversation. And my friend said, I almost felt like just leaving and going to a different dealership. He was so far in the process already, he's like, I'll just buy it. But it turned him off, turns me off. If I ever see or hear people complaining about their customers, making fun of their customers, like that's just not right. You don't do that to people, whether, especially business, but in any aspect of life. How do you like it if you're on the other side of that and you're being made fun of or criticized? It's like, no, don't do that kind of stuff. I want the person that's going to continue to work on themselves. When they make a mistake or their client makes a mistake, overlook it. Forgive and forget. There's a reason we have that saying, forgive and forget, move on. Everyone's happy. They really appreciate it. Have you ever been on the side of the fence where you made a mistake? I have. There's a time I made a serious mistake. I felt like such a fool, and the person didn't hold it against me. They actually said, I forgive you, forgot about it, moved forward. I'll always try and do the same thing as well. Goes such a long way, but it really builds relationships. Like when you've had that personal connection with someone, let's say you made a mistake, you insulted your spouse by accident or vice versa, and you felt really bad because you love them, but then you had a conversation and they forgave you. You forgave each other and you feel like you're stronger afterwards. Same thing can happen with business. Do not make fun of people. It will not help you. Do not complain about them. I see people in my business on podcasts complaining about clients and bragging how they fired them. I'm like, are you crazy? Don't do that kind of stuff. What if that was you someone's talking about? That will never, ever help you from a business standpoint. Maybe it'll temporarily make you feel good, temporarily give you a little spike in business, but at the end of the day, you are going to just shrink compared to your competitors. Different way of thinking. So know that's a lot. No, I had a little more energy than usual there. This is something I'm definitely quite passionate about, but I hope you learned something from it. Reach out if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks again. Hey guys, Steve Parisi here. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, please subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for future videos. If you'd like more information or to see some custom policies for yourself, feel free to call or email our offices at the contact information below.